Hi, I'm going to show you how to make a solid form, and you keep packing the clay, and you have to really pack it tight. You can roll it around if you want a rounded shape such as a sphere or even an oval. You can roll it. Even a cylinder that looks a little bit like a can. You can roll it back and forth. And as you can see, just by rolling it back and forth like this, you can get a shape from it. It takes a while to get this done. And you just keep rolling it, and turning it upside down. As you can see, one side becomes flat when you tap it. Turn as you go. It helps if you don't use a lot of water on your clay. If you use too much water on your clay, it turns into a pile of mud. So if you keep it just a little moist. Most of this clay is in good working conditions, and you really don't have to put water on it. If you have a crack or an empty area, you get a little bit of extra clay, and you put in there and then blend it in really good. That'll fill in that area. You can also use tools to help shape it. For example, if I wanted a flat side to it, I could tap it like this and get a flat side. See how I tapped it? Like that. Or I could use the wire. This is the wire that we talked about earlier today. I got beads on the end of this one. We could slice it, and that would make this side flat. Look at the air pocket that's in there. That's why we try to compress the clay and get it as solid as we can. So I just went back and compressed it. If I turn it this way, I have a nice curve with flat bottom, as you can see. I might go with this shape. This is a pretty nice shape. Some of you, even though you have your mind made up on what you want to make, and you've done some planning, sometimes you have to go to plan B if what you were planning was a little bit more difficult than what you had planned, on running into problems. Second step, after you shape it, you want to smooth it. So I'm using my finger. We can also use some tools to smooth with. One being a spoon. I've got a spoon here. Now you'll find plastic spoons in with the tools, and I can compress the clay just using this part of the spoon and smoothing it as I go. I turn it around. Notice I'm working on a sheet of paper. Just newsprint is fine. This way my clay does not stick to the table. It's easier to clean up. Clay is quite difficult because it leaves a lot of particles behind when you're working with it. I've got one end that doesn't look quite the shape that I want, so I can either keep molding it with my fingers, or I can try cutting it and shaping it that way. And then what do we have to put on the bottom of our piece of clay once we get it shaped and get all the imperfections out of it? Looks like it's a little rough on this end, so I could put a little extra clay in there and smooth it out. Or I could slice this end too, just like I did the other end, trying to get a nice smooth shape. And then put my fingers along the edge just to make that nice and curvy. So this is step one, making a clay form and smoothing it. And then I have to put my name on the bottom of it. The bottom's a little rough too, so I want to smooth that before I go to put my name. The point of a pencil works really well when carving your name and the date into the bottom. And sometimes that name and date get a little smudged too while you're working, so when you get done with this you want to double check it, make sure you have it on there. Okay, so if you have a long last name like mine, you can put your first initial and then your last name. So I put my last name on there, and I'm going to put 2014.